welcome everybody to another edition of Off the Top. Tonight we are doing our SummerSlam review. It is myself, Scalz. We're joined with Metal Mike and the Digital Jaxpo. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing fantastic.
I'm doing all right.
All right.
I mean, there's a lot to say about that show last night. And I would say most people agree that that was probably top 2, if not the top show of the year for WWE, PLE wise.
I mean, I'll say this: it's definitely going to be in probably the top 5 of wrestling pay-per-views throughout the year. Just everything that we're going to talk about and unpack it was a really, really great show. It was.
Yeah, I feel like it had its ups and its downs. Like it had a good flow to it, and that ending. That ending.
I mean, the end. I mean, the ending alone. I'll say this without giving too much away, and not to get into too much of anything, because we're going to get into everything. That ending alone. The past couple weeks, I've been saying, like, if that was going to happen, it could have happened anywhere on the show. I was dead set on CM Punk and Drew McIntyre main eventing. I was. But then when that happened, I was like, you know what? No. This couldn't have happened anywhere on the show. I literally go back and take back what I said. That would not have been able to fit anywhere on the show. That needed to happen there. It did.
Yeah, I mean, for everyone who did not watch last night,
You saw it.
There will be a lot of spoilers of what happened. So I apologize, but it's been almost 24 hours. That's kind of fair game now.
You had ample amount of time to watch a 3-hour show.
But the ending had a purpose. So this way it was the last thing you remember.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that could have happened. Like, I don't think it would have fit any other way onto the card. But let's start from the top of the show. The first match of the night was Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship.
Masterpiece.
And this was really good. A lot better than I thought the match was going to be, considering this was Rhea's first match back after being out since WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So that you figured there might be a little bit of ring rust, but it looked like she never left. What was your thoughts, Mike? Oh, sorry, Jax.
Oh, no. Let Mike go ahead.
No, you were going to talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, she didn't have a lot of dust on her. She didn't have enough time to get rust because she wasn't out long enough. So she didn't have a lot of dust or cobwebs. I think I said this last night after the show and a little bit ago. I think the dislocated shoulder thing kind of took a little bit of it out of me, because from someone who has dislocated their shoulder, ain't no way in any shape or form that I'm slamming my shoulder into a table to try to pop it. Not happening. But she sold it really well. And it was almost like them three, because you have to add Dom into the mix because he was a factor into this match. Them three were clicking on all cylinders together. They were synced, from the chair takeaway perfect timing to Dom trying to make it look like he's telling the referee, wait, no, she's trying to use a chair, to the final reveal where he smiles. And you're like, that's fucking storytelling. And then he got his chicken tendies. He got his chicken tendies, and I was very happy for him.
Yeah, no, I agree. This match was, my gosh, probably one of the best women's matches, if not in just WWE, all around this past year. I'll say this: I'm a huge fan of Rhea Ripley. I've made that very well known all across wherever I'm on a live or recording or anything like that. But at the same time, I'm a Liv Morgan fan. This is a hard match to kind of pick and really say who I'm going to cheer with. When we did our predictions the other night, I stuck with what I felt and saying like this storyline's not over. This is not going to be the ending. I feel like this is just the beginning of what we're going to get further on. And that's why I said Liv Morgan has to retain, because Rhea Ripley chasing opposed to holding and having Liv come after her is a lot more exciting. To getting on the dislocated arm spot, I mean, whether Rhea's arm was realistically dislocated or not, because she is a weightlifter, she is a bodybuilder, so there could be a chance that it was a real spot, a real thing. The first time she went to pop it in, I mean, you heard the crowd get up and everything like that. But then when she went and did it a second time, I was like, okay, now it's kind of overdoing it in a sense. You know, like you did it once, you got the pop. The second time, it's like, okay, you know, that's where they should have probably ended the match. Not have the referee call it, but like find a spot that they could have done to end it and save what we got that last 5 to 6 minutes for moving forward. But overall, it was a great match. Great job by these two ladies.
I disagree with that, because if you don't have what you had to finish that match,
It wouldn't have worked.
You don't get the story going forward. And that would mess up everything else that happened in the night.
So, I mean, I'm sure they could have found a way to get it to where they got, like with Dom. You know, with Dom pointing Liv onto the chair spot. That I would have left in. I agree with that. I would have let that spot in. But I mean, like the extra moves and stuff like that. Like when Rhea did the second pop in, maybe have Liv Morgan catch it very soon, to the fact where she reacts to it soon, and hit her with something, or have it to the fact where it sets up a way to get to that spot a little sooner. You know what I mean? But still have the Dominic Mysterio stuff happen, because that had to happen last night. There was no way they were waiting any longer. That had to happen last night.
You know, Rhea was the first person to kick out of the Oblivion.
Is that what it's called? I was about to ask. I forgot what it's fucking called. Because Rhea sold that bitch on that chair perfectly.
She sold the first one perfectly too.
Yeah,
She was the first person to ever kick out of that move.
That kind of shocks me.
I just love how WWE lately, I mean, I know they've been very good with their statistics overall in the past, but just lately, this past year and a half, 2 years, with their statistics, like, oh, the last person that Rhea Ripley got pinned by was Liv Morgan.
Yep.
And it's like, okay,
long-term storytelling, bitch.
This is cool. Like, that got me a little bit. I was like, this is kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, it was over 2.5 years ago. Last person to pinfall her was Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
And for everybody that's saying, oh, Liv Morgan doesn't deserve this, bitch, she fucking has put in the work. She's gotten better on both the mic and in the ring. And she is just over as fuck right now in WWE.
I don't know. She does deserve. I mean, she deserved it back when she beat Ronda for it. It was just, at that time, it was a little bit of a different space in storytelling and everything going on. Now this is like the perfect time. Mm-hmm. It is, and she definitely deserves it.
Any final thoughts on this match before we move on to the next one?
They've got me invested now. Like, now I'm more invested than I was originally.
I mean,
I hated the Rhea Dom thing. I thought it was like stupid. Like, just for so long.
I've been ranting and raving for the past few months of Rhea needs to get away from Dom and just go back out on her own. And now, I mean, whether we're getting it or not, that's left to tomorrow night. But for now, I look at it as she's on her own. Awesome. Now let's see what happens.
Well, is she on her own? That's the first question. We don't know if she is. Will she be with Damian Priest? Will they still be the Terror Twins? And because they're going to have to go after Judgment Day somehow.
Yeah.
Is Finn Balor? We'll get to that. But like Shadow said in his little chat that I had with him earlier, WWE drew him back in last night. And this is the man that's coming saying wrestling sucks every week. He was hoping today was Monday so he could see what's happening on Monday Night Raw. As was I. But now we go to the shortest match of the night. This match went a whopping 5 minutes and 40 seconds. This was for the Intercontinental Championship with Sami Zayn versus Bron Breakker. Jax, what do you think of this match?
Sami versus Bron?
Yeah.
I'm fucking all for Georgia Boy winning the fucking Intercontinental Championship. He's not a UGA alumni. He's Kennesaw State, still in Georgia. So kiss my butt. Yeah. No, I said it and I'll say it now. It should have been just Bron Breakker going out there being a beast and train wrecking Sami. Sami's a fighter, so I understand like Sami's going to fight, period. He's never backed down from anything. But I just so badly wanted Bron to make a statement after his first loss to Sami and just go out there and train wreck that boy. But it didn't happen. But the right man won.
Mike?
Yeah, I agree with you, Jax. The right man did win. They did. This was the definition of get up, get in, get out. This was. And like you said, Jax, Sami Zayn's a fighter. He is. Mm-hmm. So there was bound to be a little bit of offense from him, a little bit of fight back. But ultimately, having Bron Breakker beat him in the amount of time that he did, it had to happen. They got to where they need to get, and now they can move forward with the Intercontinental title. And I could see Bron Breakker having a very, very good reign. Scalz, you remember the days, it hasn't been too long ago, where I said, you know what, I'm not a fan of Bron Breakker.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It took that one video package on SmackDown that night we were watching where I said, oh my God, I'm a fan of Bron Breakker. And I've been a fan ever since that.
I mean, you didn't watch NXT, so you don't have an investment in these guys that came up from NXT.
I mean,
I am invested in anybody that came up from NXT because I follow NXT religiously. That is my most favorite show. I have always said it is the best wrestling show of the week, top to bottom.
I mean, I followed. I mean, it's not the same, and I know it's not the same, but I did follow along of stuff that was happening, like online with clips and everything like that. And I know it's a lot different than watching the whole show and getting invested into everything that's happening on your TV screen. I get that. So, I mean, I kind of wish I would have watched when he was down there. I think I would have been a fan a lot sooner, because now that I'm fully invested in seeing what he's doing every Monday night, I'm like, man, I cannot wait to see what this guy does next.
I mean, this match was essentially a beatdown. Bron got all his moves in. Sami really got nothing in. And it was the quintessential squash without being a squash.
Yeah.
And that's what it needed to be, especially after Bron coming out and saying that he took Sami too lightly last time.
Yeah.
He thought it would be a lot easier than it was. So he gave Sami his props, but this time he came out and he was prepared.
Yeah, he was.
And I love the fact that his dad and his uncle was there to witness this happen for his first championship on the main roster.
Oh, yeah. It was awesome. And to anyone that wants to say Bron Breakker's gear could have been something else, those were Kennesaw State colors. Like, he was repping his college last night.
Hey, it's the most I think it's one of the most played teams to be using in the college football game right now. Everybody jumped to use them when the game came out, and I think people are still using them. So,
and he was right at home with the dog pound.
Yeah.
He had the entire crowd barking with him at the end.
Never in a million years, and I think after Scott's run, once Rick retired, that a Steiner of all would be as big as they are. And Bron basically looked at his dad and said, hold my beer. And has become a fucking superstar.
Now
please, for Christ's sakes, change his name.
No.
I want a Steiner.
Scalz, I have a question for you. Was that a pun intended or no pun intended? Because that's what the Browns actually call their stadium.
No, I know.
No,
I know it's called the Dog Pound.
That was pun intended.
Yeah,
I
obviously.
think Pat McAfee even mentioned it too. At one point.
It's a dog.
He's
pound.
like, he's in the Dog Pound too. Like,
Because people were saying that they were cheering the Browns when the Miz came out on the kickoff on Friday night when he said Cleveland Brown. Everybody's like, "Oh, why are they booing the Browns?" They weren't booing the Browns; they were barking.
Yeah, they bark.
It's a Dog Pound.
Mm-hmm.
So, no. And Jax, I know his name should be Braun Steiner, but
Breaker sounds pretty fucking good.
Everybody knows that he is a Steiner. He doesn't need the name for it.
It's almost like Brian Pillman Jr. He doesn't need the name for everyone to know he's Brian Pillman.
And everybody hated the name Braun Breaker when he first came in because they wanted him to be a Steiner. But he's made a name for himself with that name. And now that's one of the most... What?
You know what his real name is?
Bronson Rex Steiner.
Rex Steiner. Like, let's wreck some shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's just awesome.
His first name is Bronson.
Yeah.
And because there was another Bronson in WWE, that's why they did Braun.
Yeah. I was like Scalz at first. I was like, why didn't they just give him his fucking Rex Steiner? Like, that's a badass name. I mean, it's his fucking name. But you're right. Braun is one of those guys that everyone looks at, just like Pillman, and goes, you're only here because you're your daddy. You're only here, like they do it with like Cody, and they did it with Roman for a long time. You're only here because of your family or your dad or your history in the business. And I used to hate the gimmick change names and everything. Either way they came from the indies to WWE. But when it comes to a second generation superstar, I think it's pretty fucking, it's almost like they want to change their names at this point. They want not people to associate, that's what my uncle did. That's what my dad did. That's what my nephew did. They want to be their own person. And it's taken me a while to get okay with that, but I'm okay with that now. Just give me one Steiner shirt.
I'm sure eventually we'll get one of them, but just to get on that, a lot of the people coming in now want to create their own name. They don't want to be known because of them. Like another one would be Brooks Jensen in NXT.
What's going on, buddy?
A name for himself. What's going on, Kyle? How are we doing today? But I mean, this match was amazing. I'm very happy that he is a champion now, and I look forward to see one, who he's going to go up against next, and two, how long this reign is going to be.
It's going to be a reign.
That was what I was going to say too. Is that's my main question. Is like we had Gunther who held it for 666 days. Sami had this run from WrestleMania to now, and now it's going back on to a big heavy hitter guy who, like you said, made a name for himself. He came up on the main roster hot. I mean, the time on SmackDown, it was short, but at the same time, it was meaningful. But when he came to Raw, it's like he took over Raw. Like he, with no pun intended.
I will acknowledge that tribal chief, not this new one, not Timu's tribal chief.
We didn't touch base on that yet, Kyle, but we're gonna get
We've hit there. I never thought I'd acknowledge Roman Reigns, but ever since Timu Solo came out, like I'm
the Wish version of the tribal chief.
No, he's a little bit step up from the Wish version. Like,
oh, so it's Wish, Timu, then OG.
Yeah, Timu's before Wish.
Okay.
So like Wish, tribal chief would have been fucking someone like Nia Jax coming out going, "I'm the tribal chief." Like, it's just like, no, that doesn't make sense.
But with Breaker, like I was saying, his time over in SmackDown, like it was short, but it was meaningful. Him coming over to Raw, no pun intended, to being, in the dog pound, anything like that. He marked his territory on Raw. He's taken over. And I think he's going to have a lengthy reign with that IC title.
All right. The next match of the night was the United States Championship, Logan Paul versus L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, how about you start this one off?
This was a good match. It was. I know I picked Logan Paul to retain this title, and it wasn't so much of the fact that they were in his hometown.
Yes, it was.
It honestly wasn't. I know he's from Cleveland, but you got to think of, I know a lot of like personal stuff was brought up into talking about him all across the board. I didn't feel like that was going to be like an issue. It was just so much the fact of like LA Knight is one of the hottest stars in this company right now. And after the year that he's had challenging Roman Reigns for the world title, it was bound to get a championship on him. They did pick the perfect spot last night. For some reason, though, I just had a feeling Logan Paul would have retained for us to get a little bit of a longer story between these two. But who knows? I mean, maybe Logan Paul will be the chase opposed to being the champion. We'll have to see what happens on Friday.
I don't think he was meant to retain at all. A lot of people are saying that he only lost because of what he said on Twitter about the whole Olympics thing with the women boxer and everything else. No, he was losing this to begin with. This was LA Knight's time. He deserves it. Like they said on the post-show panel afterwards, Big E running down all of his accolades between Eli Drake, everything else. LA Knight was ready for this. He was built for this. And man, did he show up last night and earn it. Yeah. Because Logan Paul put on a hell of a match last night. Yeah. That springboard suplex was amazing.
I hate that I have to admit that he's so fucking good.
I know, because he's a
fucking douchebag. I personally think I don't give a fuck what people in his personal life say. I believe Logan Paul, like general behind the scenes, not on screen or around certain people, I believe he's probably a fucking douchebag. I've been following this man, not like religiously, but since Vine. And he was just like, I just think he's a douchebag.
In addition to that, Kyle, I think he has a court case coming up with his lawsuit from the crypto and everything. So that's going to take time away from it as well.
See, when we did our predictions the other night, I know that was brought up. But here's the thing is that's been going on for quite some time now. So if that was the case of being involved into him being champion, they would have taken this belt off of him.
No, because he's never been found. He's never been. All we have now are allegations and enough evidence to get to a court hearing.
Yeah, like all the proceedings are going to be starting.
Yes, he's never been. Yeah. If he was, I guarantee you, during his reign, if he was convicted of this crypto scam, they'd have took that bitch off him immediately somehow. I've seen them take belts off people for less.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, Kyle made a good point that his wife is about to
give birth. That too. He's going to want to be there for that.
He's going to be gone for quite some time.
Logan Paul last night got his flowers and got his loss at the same time. He was able to come out in the biggest crowd he's ever been in front of in his hometown. At a paper, not that many people go to boxing shows.
Yeah, but Mania.
Did he wrestle on Mania?
Yeah, he's wrestled on Mania.
Well, no, I'm not saying the biggest crowd he's ever been. The biggest crowd in hometown.
Oh, hometown.
Okay.
Yeah, like the biggest crowd gathering in his hometown. He got to go out in LA Knight. These guys again were firing on cylinders together.
Yeah.
Logan Paul, I thought he was when he hit that springing moonsault. One foot was a little, it was just the tippy of his toes. I said, please don't fucking fall.
Yeah.
And he was able to spring and get it. I was like, all right, cool.
But the way he landed on that, I thought he tore his knee up.
Yeah, I thought, yeah.
You seen LA Knight immediately roll over to him to make sure he was all right. Like it was instant. There was no waiting. He made sure.
Yeah, I thought it was just something about almost every match tonight that was just good. And I'm very happy that WWE didn't fuck over Johnny Gargano in his hometown, go figure, and not fuck over Logan Paul in his. Thank you for that. You got to fuck over Cleveland, do it good.
Equal opportunity screwing over.
Yeah, like WWE. Here's how the rules work. If you're a wrestler and watching this, if you go to WWE, don't wrestle in your hometown, you get a loss.
Yep.
If you go to AEW, tell them it's your birthday every day, and
so you'll always get a win.
And you'll be fucking AEW champion in a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had amazing chemistry together. Amazing chemistry. I also think LA Knight could work with a fucking wet mop and make it look good.
He probably could. He just
like he was one of the reasons I watched NWA, just because he was fucking cocky.
He's underrated. He is underrated, underappreciated, I should say.
Yeah, I wouldn't say underrated. I'd say underappreciated.
He's underappreciated because a lot of people say, "Oh, he's a carbon copy of Stone Cold / The Rock. Why does he need people's gimmicks to get over?" This guy knows what he's doing. He's great in a ring. He's great on a mic. Just because he mimics himself after other people, that doesn't mean that he can't do it any other way. That's just how he wants to do it, and it works.
I'm trying.
The BFT counter to end the match. Yeah, that was great. I was not expecting that coming off of the. What was it? What's that move? I can't think of it right now.
The buckshot.
The buckshot. But
I like the involvement of MGK too. By the way, the number one song in the world is by MGK featuring Jelly Roll. So it's technically MGK is the number one performer in the world.
Anything else about this match before we head on to the next one? So far we've gone over 3 matches. We've seen 2 title changes.
This was a reset.
We still have 3 title matches left. I don't remember the last time that we've had this many title changes on one show. And I am all for it because it makes everything fresh.
Yeah.
And it's good because it's different people getting it and different people getting their time to shine. And we're going to go right into another title match here with Nia Jax versus Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. Jax.
They haven't done this many title changes in fucking years. I can't remember the last time. I will start. This one was kind of my. Yeah, it was better than expected, but it was also my kind of like, okay, I'll go. Like, really not like the story hasn't really been there. And like it's not caught my attention. So this was my like, I'll watch it. I'll go use the restroom and come back. It'll probably still be on. Me and Scalz called it, by the way. And with Tiffany Stratton, because there's no one in their right mind gives you anything custom and not going to make $1 off of it. But it was. I wish they would have eliminated the Tiffany Stratton thing and make Nia look a little more powerful. Because, and we'll get to this in a little bit, can we count the interferences or the assists in every match, especially ones considering championships?
There was 14 last night.
Yeah, like this was.
Wait, sorry, it was 11.
Yeah, but every one of them. But the Tiffany Stratton one, I know she's the Money in the Bank holder. She's going to do this fake out a lot. But every one of them, but that one, was, to me, needed to happen to further the story that we've been invested in. That you made Nia look strong, but weak at the same time. She needed that help, that distraction to get it.
I disagree on that.
I love when Scalz disagrees with me because we argue.
Nia looks strong regardless of whether who's going to help her or not. Especially with the way that she finished that match, where she
made Bayley look
power bombed Bayley, and then she took two power bombs and then 2 annihilators to pin her. Yes. So it made Bayley look strong in defeat as well.
Yeah.
Especially after Bayley walked out from the corner with her over her head and power bombed her.
Mm-hmm. I just think the interference kind of took the wind out of my sails. It did make for a great reaction for Sean. Like he had a good change.
It made a good crowd reaction too, because her coming out with attempting it kind of threw Nia Jax off too, because she was wondering, like, you're really gonna do this after I just gave you a briefcase?
Yeah, it could have went both ways. She could have screwed Nia on accident, or she could have screwed Bayley on purpose.
Right. Mike?
So I said it that even though I'm not a huge fan of Nia Jax or Bayley, I still say they both do some pretty good work in the ring. Really good work. This was a good match. The Tiffany Stratton coming out with the briefcase, I thought honestly we were going to get a cash in. I did. The way she was running, the way she was bum rushing the ring, I was like, okay, all right. I know she got the briefcase last night, but still, I mean, she can still cash in. And I mean, I'm okay with Nia Jax winning the championship. I really wanted to avoid saying this, but her and Tiffany Stratton, I have a feeling that this is going to be almost like we got a few years ago with Nia and Alexa Bliss. Just done in a different way. That's what I feel like. And Nia's still turning out to be the babyface out of the ordeal, and Tiffany Stratton failing to cash in.
Well, Tiffany is a better heel.
Yeah.
So I will understand that.
Yeah.
I don't think she will fail the cash in.
Really? You're changing it?
No. I said from the start that if WWE was going to do a failed cash in, the person that would fit that role best was Chelsea Green.
I remember that.
Because it would fit her character perfectly.
Yeah, it would have.
I said they would not make Tiffany lose the cash in because it would hurt her character building. And especially after giving her a specialized briefcase that she's going to hold for a good 6 months now.
She will do that.
She's not going to lose on a cash in. I think she could cash it in probably around Royal Rumble time, and then she'll hold the belt until Mania. And then that's where the person who wins Rumble or the Chamber at that point would take the belt from her.
So you think they'll go one more year with women cashing being 100%?
Correct.
Okay. So would it be almost safe to say the next Money in the Bank women's winner needs to lose eventually?
I think they will, but it also depends on what the men's does, because they're not going to want both Money in the Bank losers to lose in the same year.
Yeah, that's a good point. It would kind of like fumble. It would kind of like
it would devalue the Money in the Bank.
Devalue is what I was looking for.
Instantly.
Yeah, that I do agree with 100%.
I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of getting that whole vibe that storyline a couple years ago, but still having Tiffany being the heel and Nia at the end. That's what this story's kind of giving me right now. You know.
Yeah, when Tiffany cashes in to win, she becomes the heel, Nia becomes the babyface at that point.
And that's the thing, is she's gonna when she cashes in, if they're gonna have it be a successful cash in, then obviously with her being a heel, she's got to do it in some way, shape, or form where it's not straight up. Okay. She's got to. Either hitting her with a briefcase or doing something that's going to affect Nia from...
Right. She's going to be by her side the entire time.
Yeah.
Nia's going to barely win the match. She's going to go in there to celebrate, and she's going to clock her with the briefcase, hand it in, moonsault, pin, new champ.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is as much as I want Tiffany Stratton to fail on this cash in, Scalz,
you don't really like anybody in the women's division on SmackDown right now.
What are you talking about?
In the title picture, you do not like any of the women in the, title picture.
I've never been a fan of Bayley. I've never been a fan of Nia Jax.
And you hate Tiffany Stratton. So you don't like any of the women in the title picture. I mean, it's a valid statement.
Okay. Yeah, you're kind of, you after you painted that picture, I think you're kind of right on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. It's true.
I wasn't saying that like you hate the entire division. You hate the three that are in the title picture right now.
I get what you're saying. You had to paint the picture for me for a second there. I had to think.
So, I mean,
I'm not used
to be happy with anybody else winning it but them.
Scalz, I'm not used to doing a show on a Sunday night. My brain is kind of I usually start shutting my brain down a little bit around this time. This is a little new to me right now.
No, that's fine. Just wanted to paint that picture for you.
I appreciate it.
But let's move on. So this was the third title change of the night. Now, out of 4 title matches. Wild. 75% change rate. Unbelievable. Next, we are going to go into the only title match, the only non-title match of the night. This is Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk with Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins as a special guest referee.
Mm-hmm.
Jax, you want to start this one off?
I'm a big CM Punk fan. Shout out to his gear for giving up to the Hart Foundation. I don't see it just being an homage just to Brett. I see it homaging the Hart Foundation. But I've still it could have been so much more. It could have been so much more. Like fucking bracelet. I thought it was AJ Styles for the first when I first saw it. What the fuck's he got an AJ Styles bracelet? And then Scalz reminded me his wife was AJ Lee.
AJ and Larry. And it was given to him from a fan.
Yeah, I felt like it should have been a bracelet on a pole match. And then we could have got all 3 competitors involved. Like it was. I felt like the bracelet took precedence over winning.
In CM Punk's mind, it did.
Well, in CM Punk's mind, he needs to realize if he would have won the match, he could have just took it off of Drew's cold dead body.
But that's the point of this perfect storytelling going on with this.
Yeah, because now you got Seth fucking full on in it.
This is what Drew was all focused about. He was focused on CM Punk. He wasn't focused on winning the title. He wasn't focused on doing anything. He blamed CM Punk for all of his misfortunes. And he focused just solely on CM Punk. CM Punk now is focused solely on getting that bracelet back. And it cost him this match because after he got it back and it got knocked out of his hand, Seth picked it up to get it off of the mat so it was not a chance of getting lost or whatever. He put it on, and as soon as CM Punk noticed that, CM Punk went after Seth as well.
Yeah.
The storytelling that went on throughout this night was top-notch, top-tier. It just made everything flow. It worked out perfectly, and it's got me invested in what's coming next. Mike?
I just wanted to say, I know there was the question of, when the last time this many championships changed hands. I believe the last time that we had more than 3 championships change hands in one night, I think was Survivor Series 2002. There was 5 championships that changed hands that night. Every title that was on the line changed hands.
That's insane.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you're still reaching that or not, but I believe that's the last time.
Damn.
Yeah, 5 championships changed hands that night. But getting into the Drew McIntyre CM Punk match, I picked Drew McIntyre to win this match. I had this big feeling that this was another storyline, much like Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, where it was not ending at SummerSlam. I mean, I understand, we got Bad Blood coming up, and it's the perfect fitted name for big storylines and feuds like this to happen at and possibly end at. You know, they're taking a small pay-per-view that happened for 3 or 4 years in the past and now kind of making it big by highlighting these big storylines with it, if that's the connection they're trying to make. This was an emotional roller coaster of a match. This match had me literally gripping at the edge of my sofa because, like I said to you guys, you know, I lost internet last night. I didn't get to watch SummerSlam live, but I did watch it this morning, and I watched the whole show. And it was about, let's see, I started watching at 4:30. It was about maybe 6:30, 6:45-ish when this match went on. I'm gripping my couch at 6:45 in the morning during this whole match. Like, and Seth Rollins, hats off to him. He did a good job being a referee. He did. You go back to Monday Night Raw and everything he said at Monday Night Raw, and he lived up to it. But at the same time, all the like speculations of him turning heel, I was like, there's no way. He was going to play like that. I'm trying to find the word for it. Like, he wasn't going to be a heel and let things slide, and he wasn't going to make it all about him. He was just saying, like, this isn't about me. This isn't about you or any of this. He was then, hey, I didn't do this, that, you know, he was playing, the non-guilty person. I'm excited to see where the storyline goes. I can't wait for Monday Night Raw because I know it's going to continue tomorrow night. It's got to. They've got to pick this up right away. Don't let this storyline have any breath. Just keep at it. Because these three guys are doing a great job with it.
Keep milking the cow.
Yep.
So Drew McIntyre with the win on this one was great. Punk with 2 GTSs. Both actually looked really good.
Yeah.
On Punk was great. And I'm glad that he made it through this match without being injured. That was my biggest concern.
Can I ask you a question? Did it seem like at certain times they seemed a little hesitant with certain things, like with certain moves? Did it seem that way to you guys?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I just think that they, like, it might have come off that way because they are trying to make sure that everybody is protected.
Yeah.
Because of all the injuries that have happened lately. But I don't think it was intentional.
I think the only one that I really caught was the DDT. Because of it being the spot that Punk initially got hurt on. That was the one that I seen them really being hesitant on. Like, I think they went to make it seem like the attempt was going to happen twice, and then they finally did it. But they seemed a little hesitant at first to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's 2 matches left. Let's get into the first of the 2 major titles. This one is the World Heavyweight Championship with Damian Priest against Gunther.
Oh, such a fucking good match.
Yeah.
Such a fucking good match. But again, it has my doubts. But it made sense. My doubts made sense.
Gunther is the best wrestler in the world. Like, I don't care what people say. People will say Daniel Bryan, fine. Bryan Danielson, whatever you want to call him, fine. He is a phenomenal wrestler. Gunther, his style, he is the best wrestler. He is the safest wrestler. He does everything to a T. For him to get a bloody chest off of a hand slap from Damian Priest,
it's
unbelievable.
Yeah, I'll say this. When these two first started this match, I thought we were just going to get pure physicality until the end. And then enter Finn Balor. Then the drama started. And the emotions started grabbing you. And just the dead stare of Finn Balor into Damian Priest's eyes as he's in that submission hold was like, man, please, Damian, do not tap out. Like,
Oh, I was yelling tap.
I mean, no, I was like, I wanted Damian to continue this reign. I did. But I understand why they put it on Gunther. And I'm okay with it. I agree with you, Scalz. Gunther is the, if not one of the best wrestler in the world right now. I mean, the man brings it every time he gets into the ring. He's not afraid to get physical. That's obvious. And I mean, I was questionably and doubted on the fact of putting the title on him before 2025, but you know what? I'm okay with it. Let's see what he does with it. I'm excited to see it. But the emotional part with Priest and Balor, man, like I said, I thought this match was going to be pure physicality. And when Finn Balor came out and caught that, my emotion started with everything that happened in that sequence of him coming out.
I mean, before the match, they showed him backstage.
Yeah.
Gunther apologized to him for earlier in the night. And Finn Balor says, I'm sorry too.
Yeah.
But there was nothing for him to apologize for yet. And if you fast forwarded through that backstage segment, you wouldn't have caught that.
He said sorry before he did it.
He said sorry before he did anything in that match.
Yeah.
And if you remember, how many times did Damian Priest cost Finn Balor when he was trying to cash in his briefcase or attempting to cash in his briefcase? He cost him in the match against Seth multiple times. Long-term storytelling has been at its finest in WWE over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And after Finn put Gunther's leg on the ropes and Priest looked up and watched the replay of it, it was chef's kiss. Because how many times do you see a wrestler watch the replay to see what happened?
Hardly ever.
Yeah, like it was perfect.
I have never seen that happen before, especially in the WWE.
Yeah.
And this is just going to have the storytelling going forward. What's going to happen with the Judgment Day?
I do have a question for you guys, though. And I sat back and thought about this today. And by all means, you guys know that if you disagree with me, that's fine. I'm okay with it. I always say the great part about disagreements is great discussions when it comes to pro wrestling, sports, whatever. You've seen the shift a little bit last night with things. And what I mean by that is you go back to WrestleMania, Roman loses the title, he goes away, and Solo takes over as the tribal chief. The Judgment Day, back around that time, started getting elevated even more to last night. Now, last night with the Judgment Day, you kind of had a change in the guard a little bit. Damian Priest is out. Rhea out. Finn Balor still in. Carlito, JD, Dom, and now Liv.
Well, we don't know about Carlito.
Yeah.
No, we don't know about Carlito. But you have to remember, Liv was with Finn Balor when he was on SmackDown.
Yeah.
With AJ.
Yeah.
So Liv and Finn have history. Who was brought in to lead the Judgment Day when Edge was kicked out? Finn was brought in.
Yeah.
Finn was brought to be the leader.
Yeah.
Was he ever given that chance?
Nope.
No.
Or was Damian always the pseudo leader with Rhea?
Yes.
So what did he do last night? They got rid of the two people that were in charge, so now he can run the show.
My main question though for you guys that I wanted to get to was, do you feel like the Judgment Day at this point right now, if the Judgment Day was made up of Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, JD McDonough, Carlito, and Liv Morgan. Do you feel like it's a lot stronger, the same, or a little less stronger than what it was? Or is it
I think it was a decrease in what they had.
Okay.
But it's going to build a story.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not to say that they won't bring somebody else in.
Yeah.
Because it just elevated Dominic last night.
It elevated Finn, too.
It elevated Finn last night.
Finn definitely needed the elevation.
Liv is elevated again.
Yeah.
So, JD, they were here with Priest and Rhea. Now they're here.
Like, and they needed that.
There's still a lot to go.
Oh, yeah.
The story this is telling is masterpiece.
I guess the one thing that it still bothers me to this day is you go back to when JD McDonough first came in and you remember seeing him in the parking lot kind of just like lurking in the shadows. You thought he was gonna be made like this huge deal. And then when he officially comes in, he's just made basically as like a messenger. And then obviously turned into being part of the team and became a champion at some point. But JD, I think last night got a little more elevated without doing anything. Yeah.
And you got to remember, Finn and JD are still tag champs.
This is true.
Yeah.
So Judgment Day now has 2 belts still. They didn't lose the belt.
That is right. I didn't think about that.
They went from the men's to the women's. But now you got to remember, can Finn Balor be in the conversation to go towards that belt that he just helped Damian lose? Can he be in the conversation to go towards Braun Breaker for the IC belt? Like, there's lots that can come from this.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited to see where this goes from here. But now we come to the main event. Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa in a Bloodline rules match for the Undisputed WWE Championship. Jax, you look like you wanted to say something. You can start this one off.
Fucking listen. From him walking out of his bus to the enforcer himself and tweeting after the show, who says you can never go back? I did not predict that him saying you have people that still have your back. I did not catch that Easter egg until after. But I liked how Solo came out by himself. Just the Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, kind of predictable. By the way, PCO wrestled with an eye patch for years. So that's just an excuse. But
I like that they came out and then were gone.
Yeah, it came out and then they, instead of them laying around the ring and piling up, they left. They fought them out of the ring. I don't believe that Jimmy was supposed to be there and Jacob's thing hindered it, because the way I don't see it with the way Jacob gets hurt, Roman hits, and the spot goes the way it does if Jimmy was supposed to be there.
Because there's nobody else to come out for the bloodline.
Yeah, like it was just...
It wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
Correct.
But they did good. I liked it. It gave me a lot of WrestleMania feels. But at the same time, it opens up the door for Roman not to immediately go after Cody, which is whatever I think a lot of people thought originally. Roman now will focus on Solo for this first part, and once that's taken care of, then he'll go back to Cody. He's got to get the tribe together.
When that music hit, and I said this on Twitter earlier today, that might have been the loudest pop for a return of all time. because that crowd just went insane. You have to remember, they are outdoors, so the sound doesn't carry as it would for inside an arena with a roof on it. So for that sound to be that loud over the TV, the only one it parallels to me was Edge's return at the Royal Rumble in Houston.
Yeah.
If it was indoors, then I can compare it to Triple H's and John Cena's, because to me, those are the two biggest returns indoors within a WWE ring. I'm not counting anything that happened in AEW with CM Punk, because that was predicted. That wasn't a surprise return. That was announced. But within WWE, to me, those are the top 4 returns of all time, crowd reaction-wise. And when he started running towards the ring after he got to that bend, and the way that he made the beeline towards Cody first, and then turning and hitting Solo with the Superman punch, was a masterful move. Because it gave you the thought that he was there to help Solo when he wasn't.
Yeah.
And then just everything after he Superman punched him and speared him, everything he did after that with Cody was just to a T. He gave him a head nod, like, I respect you. Finish this so we can deal with our shit later. Type thing. Mike.
Yeah, I mean, that storm that hit here last night, we had long, drawn-out rumbles of thunder. And I think that crowd was louder than that. And we had a thunder that literally shook my house, like rattled everything. I think that crowd was a lot louder than that last night. I will say that right now. When that music hit, I mean, even though I kind of spoiled it for myself and looked on the internet before I watched it, the recording, even just watching the recording gave me goosebumps. It did, because it was exciting. It's almost like going back and watching Edge's return. Yeah, it's almost like you go back and watch Edge's return. It gives you goosebumps every time you see it, because it's that you're seeing something happen and you get those goosebumps and you know, I love this stuff. You have a general, like, unforgiving love for something. And I love watching pro wrestling. I love pro wrestling. I could probably go back and watch that return today and the Roman return, and it'll probably give me goosebumps again. But match was great. It was really, really good. Cody and Solo, great performance. The other guys coming out. I mean, we knew people were going to come out. Bloodline rules, that's obvious. Knowing who was coming out for Cody, like you guys said, Kevin Owens and Randy were pretty obvious. You know, with Jacob's spot, I mean, hopefully it's not too bad. You know, hopefully he's okay and it's not something serious, something that will take a little bit to heal up.
From everything I have heard and read, it was a planned spot. He was planned to sell the injury.
Oh, okay.
And planned to continue to sell.
So he's healthy.
That being said, it doesn't mean that it's not something bruised because of the way that he did hit it, and it might take a week or two to heal up because he is currently in a walking boot.
Yeah, because when I watched the replay of it, because I kind of went back, like I rewinded it a little bit, and it looked like he hit like the edge of the table,
right, with his shin.
Yeah. But I mean, nonetheless, you know, hopefully he, you know, a couple weeks to recover, everything like that. Whether somebody else was supposed to come out or not, I mean, like you guys said,
there wasn't
yet to be known. Okay.
No, it was.
So everybody was.
Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful came out and said that Jimmy and Jay were not supposed to get involved in this. Jimmy is ready to come back. They just don't have the right time for him to come back yet.
Because
who came out last night was supposed to come out.
Okay. Because what I was going to say is if they were going to pick any spot for like a Jimmy or a Jay to come out, I think the only opportunity they could have been done that is if they would have came from behind where the timekeeper area is and why he's kneeling there yelling at Solo, one of them come by and just super kick him. That would be the way I see it, the perfect spot. But great match, awesome. Roman's back. I'm excited to see what we see moving forward from him. And I know it's a little obvious what we're going to get, but at the same time, I'm still excited to see everything transpire.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
We're about to eat. Like, we are about to eat. And the original tribal chief, the OTC, is back.
I love that shirt.
And we need to acknowledge him.
So I will say this. I have to go to the dentist on Tuesday. And I literally, when I seen that shirt, I hopped on .com and I was like, I'm going to buy this shirt. Wait, Mike, you got to go to the dentist. Make sure you save a little bit of money for this appointment just in case. So I had to hold off, but Tuesday, if I'm good, I am ordering that shirt. I am. I love that shirt.
People are like, what does OTC stand for?
Original
They're
tribe.
like, original tribal chief.
Yeah.
Other people were saying the only tribal chief.
Tribal chief.
Only
But-
makes it seem like he's acknowledging Solo as one.
Right. And they did say on the panel afterwards that it was the original tribal chief.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
But anything you want to add about the show before we head on out for tonight?
Cleveland, you did great last night. You were an awesome crowd. You brought it. Because we've seen in the past with some PLEs this past year that some crowds just haven't been there. Cleveland did a great job and great show by the WWE. I'm excited to continue our storylines and see what happens Monday Night Raw tomorrow night.
Jax?
Yeah, no, I'm down. You've hook, line, sinkered. I'm going to make sure I pay attention to Raw and at least the last hour of SmackDown so I get my bloodline fix. If that doesn't kick off the show. But
I'm excited.
we're back into need to watch. Like they're becoming must-see TV again.
That being said, Mike, where can we find you? Abbreviated version today.
Yeah, I'm going to give you an abbreviated version. You can catch me back on the network here tomorrow night at 11:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Table Spot with Cam and Sean, and all across social media, Metal Mike 714 X, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and am I forgetting anything? Snapchat, Metal Mike 714. Other than that, Table Spot tomorrow night, 11:10, right after Monday Night Raw.
Jax?
I'll make it short, sweet. Go to Twitter, follow me at Jacksbo2020. Hit the link tree, you'll find everything.
I am Scalz. I am the host of Friday Night Review as well as NXT on Tap, both on Off the Top Media on Twitch and YouTube. You can also find me on Off the Top Media _ at TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, stopping by, saying hi. We'll catch y'all soon. Have a great evening.